There is a battlefield where every fortune is won or lost, where every dream takes its first breath or dies its final death. This battlefield isn't found in the boardrooms of Wall Street or the factories of Detroit. It's not discovered in the laboratories where genius is born or the stages where legends are made. This battlefield exists in the 3 inches between your ears. Your mind is the ultimate arena where victory and defeat are decided long before they manifest in the physical world. Andrew Carnegie understood this truth when he built his steel empire from nothing but an immigrant's dream and an unshakable belief in the power of thought. Thomas Edison grasped this principle when he failed over 1,000 times before illuminating the world with his electric bulb, never once allowing his mind to accept the word impossible. Walt Disney embodied this understanding when he mortgaged everything he owned to bring a mouse named Mickey to life, transforming childhood imagination into a billion-dollar empire built on the foundation of unwavering mental conviction. These titans of industry didn't stumble upon success by accident. They didn't inherit their fortunes or wait for luck to knock on their door. They discovered the most profound secret of human achievement, that every external fortune begins as an internal conviction, every material success starts as a mental blueprint, and every empire that rises from dust first takes shape in the architecture of thought. The mind you carry today is the same miraculous instrument that has built every cathedral launched, every rocket composed, every symphony, and created every fortune in human history. Yet most people treat their minds like abandoned warehouses cluttered with the debris of doubt, haunted by the ghosts of past failures, and locked away from the treasures that wait within. They surrender the most powerful force in the universe to the chaos of circumstance, the tyranny of other people's opinions, and the poverty of their own limited beliefs. But you are not most people. The very fact that these words reach your consciousness proves that something deeper stirs within you. There's a part of your soul that refuses to accept mediocrity as your destiny, that rejects the notion that your current circumstances define your future possibilities. That restless energy you feel, that persistent whisper that tells you there's more to life than what you're currently experiencing, that's not delusion. That's your true self calling out from beneath the layers of conditioning and compromise. Your mind is not just a thinking machine, it's a creative force that shapes reality itself. Every thought you think sends ripples through the fabric of your experience. Every belief you hold becomes a magnet that attracts corresponding circumstances. Every mental image you consistently focus on becomes a blueprint that your subconscious mind works tirelessly to manifest in your physical reality. This isn't mystical nonsense or wishful thinking. This is the fundamental law that governs human achievement, the invisible principle that separates those who struggle from those who soar. Napoleon Hill spent 25 years studying the most successful people of his era, interviewing over 500 millionaires and titans of industry. His conclusion was revolutionary, yet simple success begins with a definite purpose, backed by an unwavering belief and sustained by persistent action. The wealthy think differently than the poor. The successful operate from different mental frameworks than the struggling. The achievers have disciplined their minds in ways that the dreamers have not. This isn't about intelligence or talent or luck. This is about mental mastery, the ability to direct your thoughts, control your emotions, and focus your attention with laser-like precision on the outcomes you desire. Henry Ford revolutionized transportation, not because he was the smartest man in Detroit, but because he could see in his mind the vision of every American family owning an automobile. While others saw impossibility, he saw inevitability. While others focused on the obstacles, he concentrated on the opportunities. His mind became a fertile ground where innovation could take root and grow into an industrial empire that changed the world forever. The same mental soil that produced Ford's vision, Edison's inventions, and Carnegie's empire exists within your consciousness right now. The only difference between their minds and yours isn't capacity, it's cultivation. They learned to plant seeds of possibility instead of weeds of doubt. They chose to water their dreams with daily discipline instead of drowning them in excuses. They decided to fertilize their thoughts with faith instead of poisoning them with fear. But cultivation requires more than desire. It demands decision. Not the casual kind of decision that evaporates with the first challenge, but the kind of bone-deep commitment that transforms your entire approach to life. The kind of decision that Abraham Lincoln made when he chose to see himself as president long before the voters agreed. The kind of decision that Oprah Winfrey made when she refused to let her circumstances define her destiny. The kind of decision that every person who has ever risen from obscurity to greatness has made at some pivotal moment in their journey. That moment is now. This is your pivotal point. You can continue to drift through life as a passenger in your own existence, reacting to circumstances and hoping for better days, or you can seize control of the steering wheel of your consciousness and drive deliberately toward the destination of your dreams. The choice is yours, but understand this: not choosing is still a choice. Indecision is a decision to remain where you are. The first step in winning your mind is gaining absolute clarity about what you want. Not what others expect of you, not what society tells you to want, not what seems practical or safe, but what genuinely sets your soul on fire. Vague wishes and general hopes are the enemies of achievement. Your subconscious mind cannot work with fuzzy instructions any more than a GPS can navigate to somewhere nice. When John D. Rockefeller was asked about the secret to his unprecedented success in the oil industry, he didn't talk about market conditions or business strategies. He spoke about the power of definite purpose. From his youth, he could see himself as the richest man in America. This wasn't arrogance, it was clarity. He knew exactly what he wanted, and every decision, every action, every relationship was filtered through that singular focus. Your definite purpose becomes your mental compass, guiding every choice and directing every effort toward your chosen destination. Without it, you're like a ship without a rudder, at the mercy of every wind and wave that comes your way. With it, you become unstoppable because every challenge becomes a stepping stone and every setback becomes a setup for a comeback. But clarity alone isn't enough. You must couple your definite purpose with unwavering belief. Not the kind of shallow optimism that crumbles under pressure, but the kind of deep-seated faith that remains unshaken in the face of temporary defeat. This is where most people fail. They can see what they want, but they cannot sustain the belief that they can achieve it. Belief is the bridge between desire and achievement. It's the invisible force that transforms possibility into probability and probability into inevitability. When you truly believe something is possible for you, your mind begins to notice opportunities that were always there but previously invisible. Your awareness expands, your confidence grows, and your actions align with your aspirations. Colonel Sanders believed in his chicken recipe so deeply that he was willing to be rejected over 1,000 times before finding someone who shared his vision. Walt Disney believed in his theme park concept so completely that he persisted through years of rejection and financial struggle before Disneyland became a reality. These men didn't have more talent than their contemporaries. They had more belief. They understood that belief is not just a nice-to-have feeling. It's an essential ingredient in the recipe for success. Your beliefs shape your reality more than your circumstances ever could. A person who believes they're destined for greatness will find ways to rise above any limitation. A person who believes they're meant to struggle will find evidence to support that belief, no matter how many opportunities surround them. Your external world is a reflection of your internal world. Change your beliefs, and you change your life. But belief without vision is like a powerful engine without a destination. You need to paint a vivid picture in your mind of exactly what your life will look like when you achieve your definite purpose. This isn't daydreaming, this is mental blueprinting. Every great achievement in history first existed as a clear mental image in someone's imagination. The Wright brothers could see themselves flying long before they left the ground. They spent countless hours visualizing the mechanics of flight, imagining the sensation of soaring through the clouds. Their vision was so clear, so detailed, so compelling that they were willing to risk their lives to make it real. That's the power of vision. It makes the impossible feel inevitable. Your vision must be more than just a goal. It must be a living, breathing, emotionally charged movie that plays constantly in your mental theater. You must see yourself living the life you desire with such clarity that it feels more real than your current circumstances. You must be able to taste the success, feel the satisfaction, and experience the joy of achievement before it manifests in the physical world. This vision becomes your North Star, guiding you through the darkest nights of doubt and the stormiest seas of setback. When the world tells you to give up, your vision reminds you why you started. When circumstances seem impossible, your vision shows you what's possible. When others question your sanity, your vision confirms your destiny. But vision without purpose is merely fantasy. Purpose gives your vision, meaning transforms your dreams from selfish desires into contributions that serve something greater than yourself. The most successful people in history weren't driven solely by personal gain. They were motivated by a sense of mission that transcended their individual needs. Steve Jobs wasn't just trying to build computers. He was on a mission to put the power of technology in the hands of everyday people. Mother Teresa wasn't just helping the poor, she was answering a calling to serve humanity's most vulnerable members. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't just fighting for civil rights, he was pursuing a vision of a world where character mattered more than color. When your purpose is bigger than yourself, you tap into a source of energy and determination that can overcome any obstacle. You stop asking, "What's in it for me?" and start asking, "How can I serve?" This shift in perspective transforms work from drudgery into devotion, obstacles from problems into opportunities, and setbacks from failures into feedback. Your purpose becomes the fuel that powers your persistence when the journey gets difficult. And it will get difficult. Success is not a smooth ascent. It's a series of climbs, falls, and climbs again. The difference between those who reach the summit and those who quit halfway up isn't talent or luck, it's purpose. When you know why you're climbing, you'll find the strength to keep going no matter how many times you stumble. This is where discipline enters the equation. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement, between dreaming and doing, between wanting and winning. Without discipline, your definite purpose remains just a wish, your belief becomes mere hope, and your vision stays locked in the realm of imagination. Benjamin Franklin understood this principle when he created his system of moral discipline, tracking 13 virtues and working to improve one each week. He knew that character is built through consistent daily choices, not grand gestures or momentary inspiration. His disciplined approach to self-improvement laid the foundation for his success as a diplomat, inventor, writer, and founding father. Discipline isn't about punishment or deprivation. It's about making choices that serve your long-term vision instead of your short-term impulses. It's about doing what needs to be done whether you feel like it or not. It's about showing up consistently, especially when motivation is nowhere to be found. The undisciplined mind is like a wild horse, powerful but uncontrollable, capable of great speed, but unable to reach any meaningful destination. The disciplined mind is like that same horse trained for racing, all that power focused and directed toward winning the prize. Discipline transforms potential into performance, talent into triumph, and dreams into reality. Every morning when you wake up, you face a choice. Will you allow your mind to run wild with worries, distractions, and random thoughts, or will you harness that mental energy and direct it toward your definite purpose? Will you react to whatever happens to you, or will you respond according to your predetermined plan? Will you be a victim of your circumstances, or will you be the architect of your destiny? This choice must be made fresh every day, sometimes every hour, often every minute. Mental discipline is not a one-time achievement. It's an ongoing practice. Like physical fitness, it requires consistent effort to maintain and continuous challenge to improve. The mind that isn't actively directed toward positive outcomes will drift toward negative patterns by default. But here's what most people don't understand about discipline: it gets easier with practice. The muscle of self-control grows stronger with each rep. The habit of choosing long-term benefit over short-term pleasure becomes more automatic with repetition. What once required tremendous willpower eventually becomes as natural as breathing. Thomas Edison didn't just stumble upon the light bulb after 1,000 failed attempts. He disciplined himself to learn from each failure, to extract the lesson from each setback, to maintain his vision even when evidence suggested it was impossible. His discipline wasn't about forcing himself to work. It was about training himself to see failure as feedback and obstacles as education. This perspective transforms everything. When you discipline your mind to see challenges as opportunities for growth, setbacks as setups for comebacks, and failures as stepping stones to success, you become unstoppable. You develop what the Japanese call nanakorobi ya oki, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Rocky Balboa wasn't just a fictional character. He was a representation of this principle. He didn't win because he was the most talented fighter. He won because he had the discipline to get up one more time than he was knocked down. He understood that discipline isn't about never falling, it's about always rising. This brings us to the crucial element of action. All the mental discipline in the world means nothing without consistent, persistent, intelligent action. Your mind can be perfectly focused, your beliefs can be absolutely solid, and your vision can be crystal clear, but without action, nothing changes. Action is the bridge between the mental and the physical, between the possible and the actual. But not just any action, intelligent action. Action that's aligned with your definite purpose, guided by your vision, and sustained by your discipline. Too many people mistake activity for achievement, busyness for productivity, motion for movement. They exhaust themselves running in circles instead of making progress toward their destination. Intelligent action begins with asking the right questions. What one thing, if I did it excellently, would make the biggest difference in moving me toward my definite purpose? What activities are essential to my success? And what activities are just distractions dressed up as work? How can I leverage my time, energy, and resources to create maximum impact with minimum effort? Andrew Carnegie built his steel empire not by working harder than everyone else, but by working smarter. He surrounded himself with people who knew more than he did in specific areas, then orchestrated their expertise toward his vision. He understood that intelligent action often means doing less, not more, but doing the right things with laser-like focus and unwavering commitment. The most successful people are not necessarily the busiest people. They're the most focused people. They've learned to say no to good opportunities so they can say yes to great ones. They've mastered the art of elimination, removing everything from their lives that doesn't serve their definite purpose. They understand that in a world of infinite distractions, focus is the ultimate competitive advantage. But focus requires more than just knowing what to do. It requires knowing what not to do. Every yes is 1,000 no's. Every commitment is a choice to exclude all other possibilities. This is why clarity of purpose is so crucial. It gives you the criteria for making these difficult decisions. When Oprah Winfrey was building her media empire, she didn't try to be everything to everyone. She focused on her unique gift for connecting with people and helping them discover their own potential. She said no to countless opportunities that didn't align with her purpose, even when they seemed lucrative or prestigious. Her focused action created more impact than scattered effort ever could have. Your action must be persistent as well as intelligent. The graveyard of dreams is filled with people who took massive action for a short time, then quit when immediate results didn't appear. They expected success to arrive like a lightning bolt, instant and dramatic, but real success is more like a sunrise, gradual, then sudden, then overwhelming. Persistence is not about stubbornly doing the same thing over and over again. That's insanity, not persistence. True persistence means consistently moving toward your goal while adapting your methods based on feedback from your results. It means learning from every setback, adjusting your approach based on new information, and maintaining your faith in your ultimate success even when current evidence suggests otherwise. Colonel Sanders didn't just knock on 109 doors with his chicken recipe. He refined his pitch, improved his presentation, and strengthened his conviction with each rejection. By the time he reached the 110th restaurant, he wasn't the same person who had started the journey. His persistence had transformed him into someone who could not be denied. This is the secret that separates temporary success from lasting fortune, the willingness to persist through the inevitable challenges that test your commitment to your definite purpose. Every worthwhile goal comes with a price, and that price is almost always paid in persistence. The question isn't whether you'll face obstacles, the question is whether you'll persist through them. But persistence without gratitude becomes mere stubborn grinding. Gratitude is the fuel that sustains long-term effort without burning out. When you appreciate what you have while working toward what you want, you create a positive energy that attracts more good into your life. Gratitude transforms your perspective from scarcity to abundance, from lack to appreciation, from complaint to contentment. Walt Disney faced bankruptcy multiple times before creating the Disney Empire. He could have focused on his failures, his debts, his critics, and his setbacks. Instead, he chose to be grateful for each lesson learned, each person who believed in him, each small victory that proved his dreams were possible. His gratitude didn't make him complacent, it made him unstoppable. Gratitude is not about accepting mediocrity or settling for less than you deserve. It's about recognizing that you're already blessed with everything you need to achieve your definite purpose. You have a brain capable of thought, a heart capable of emotion, hands capable of work, and a spirit capable of dreams. Most importantly, you have this moment right now to begin transforming your life. The grateful mind sees opportunities where the ungrateful mind sees only obstacles. The grateful heart attracts more to be grateful for, while the complaining heart repels the very blessings it claims to want. This isn't just philosophical wisdom, It's practical psychology. Your emotional state determines your energy level determines your actions, and your actions determine your results. When you approach challenges with gratitude instead of resentment, with curiosity instead of fear, with excitement instead of dread, you access levels of creativity and problem-solving ability that remain hidden when you operate from negative emotions. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel better, it makes you perform better. But gratitude alone isn't enough in a world that's constantly changing. You must also cultivate adaptability, the ability to adjust your methods while maintaining your objectives. The graveyard of businesses is filled with companies that refuse to adapt to changing circumstances. The graveyard of dreams is filled with people who insisted on following outdated strategies in a world that had moved on. Darwin's theory of evolution teaches us that it's not the strongest or the smartest who survive, but the most adaptable. This principle applies to success as much as it does to species. The most successful people are not necessarily the most talented, they're the most adaptable. They can pivot when necessary, learn new skills when required, and change their approach when circumstances demand it. Jeff Bezos started Amazon as an online bookstore, but he didn't limit his vision to books. He adapted and expanded until Amazon became the everything store. Netflix began by mailing DVDs, but adapted to streaming and then to original content creation. These companies succeeded not because they had perfect initial strategies, but because they were willing to adapt their methods while staying true to their core purpose. Your adaptability must be balanced with persistence. You must be flexible in your methods, but inflexible in your commitment to your definite purpose. This requires wisdom, the ability to distinguish between temporary setbacks that require persistence and fundamental changes that require adaptation. Sometimes the path to your destination requires a detour. Sometimes the direct route is blocked and you must find another way. Sometimes the method that worked yesterday won't work today and you must evolve or become extinct. The key is maintaining your focus on the destination while remaining open to different routes. This adaptability is closely linked to your willingness to learn continuously. In a rapidly changing world, yesterday's knowledge becomes today's obsolescence. The half-life of information is shrinking and the pace of change is accelerating. The person who stops learning stops growing, and the person who stops growing starts dying, maybe not physically, but certainly professionally and personally. The most successful people are lifelong learners. They read voraciously, listen intently, observe carefully, and question constantly. They understand that learning is not something you do until you graduate. It's something you do until you die. Every day offers new lessons. Every person you meet can teach you something, and every experience provides education if you're paying attention. Warren Buffett, one of the world's most successful investors, spends 80% of his day reading. At 90 years old, he's still learning, still growing, still adapting to new realities. His learning isn't academic, it's practical. He reads to understand businesses, industries, economics, and human nature. His continuous learning has enabled him to adapt his investment strategies across multiple decades of changing markets. But learning without application is just entertainment. You must translate knowledge into action, insights into implementation, and information into transformation. The gap between knowing and doing is where most dreams die. It's not enough to know what to do, you must actually do what you know. This brings us to perhaps the most crucial element of winning your mind, developing unshakable resilience. Life will test your commitment to your definite purpose. You will face rejection, criticism, failure, and doubt. You will encounter people who don't believe in your dreams and circumstances that seem to contradict your vision. In these moments, your resilience determines whether you rise or fall. Resilience is not about avoiding pain. It's about learning to use pain as fuel. Every setback contains the seeds of future success if you're willing to plant them. Every failure provides feedback that can guide you toward better strategies. Every criticism reveals weaknesses that once strengthened become competitive advantages. Abraham Lincoln lost more elections than he won before becoming president. He failed in business, struggled with depression, and faced constant criticism throughout his political career. But each defeat taught him something, each setback strengthened his resolve, and each criticism refined his character. By the time he reached the presidency, he had been forged in the fire of adversity into the leader America needed. Your resilience grows through deliberate practice. Each time you choose to get up instead of giving up, each time you persist instead of quitting, each time you learn instead of blaming, you build your resilience muscle. Like physical strength, resilience develops through resistance. The challenges you face today are training you for the victories you'll win tomorrow. But resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward. It's not enough to return to where you were before the setback. You must use the experience to reach heights you never could have achieved without it. This is the difference between recovery and growth, between surviving and thriving, between getting by and getting ahead. Think of a tree that's been bent by strong winds. It doesn't just return to its original position, it develops stronger roots and more flexible branches that help it withstand future storms. Your challenges are the winds that strengthen your roots and develop your flexibility. Without them, you would remain weak and brittle, unable to withstand the storms that accompany great success. The most resilient people share certain characteristics. They maintain perspective during crises. They focus on what they can control rather than what they can't. They view setbacks as temporary rather than permanent, and they see challenges as specific rather than universal. They don't let one failure define their entire identity or one setback derail their entire journey. This perspective is a choice. You can choose to see obstacles as roadblocks or stepping stones. You can choose to view criticism as attack or feedback. You can choose to interpret setbacks as evidence of your inadequacy or proof of your proximity to breakthrough. The circumstances are the same. Your interpretation determines your experience. But perhaps the most important choice you make is how you talk to yourself. The conversation happening in your head right now is the most important conversation you'll ever have. It's determining your confidence, shaping your decisions, and creating your reality. If you're constantly criticizing yourself, doubting your abilities, and focusing on your limitations, you're programming your mind for failure. The most successful people have learned to become their own best coaches rather than their own worst critics. They speak to themselves with encouragement rather than condemnation, with possibility rather than pessimism, with faith rather than fear. They understand that self-talk is not just commentary on their experience, it's creating their experience. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." This isn't just motivational wisdom, it's psychological truth. Your self-talk becomes your beliefs. Your beliefs drive your actions, and your actions create your results. Change your self-talk and you change your life. Start paying attention to the voice in your head. Is it encouraging or discouraging? Is it building you up or tearing you down? Is it focusing on possibilities or limitations? Is it speaking with the voice of fear or the voice of faith? Once you become aware of your internal dialogue, you can begin to change it. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning how." Replace "this is impossible" with "this is challenging." Replace "I always fail" with "I'm getting better." Replace "why me" with "what can I learn?" These aren't just semantic games, they're reprogramming exercises that gradually shift your mental default settings from negative to positive. But changing your self-talk requires more than just positive thinking. It requires evidence-based confidence. You must begin to collect proof that you're capable of achieving your definite purpose. This proof comes through small victories, daily disciplines, and consistent progress toward your goals. Start with small wins that build your confidence muscle. If your definite purpose is to build $1 million business, start by making your first sale. If your goal is to become a best-selling author, start by writing your first page. If you want to transform your health, start by taking your first walk. Every journey begins with a single step, and every empire starts with a single brick. These small victories become evidence that contradicts your old limiting beliefs and supports your new empowering ones. Each win proves that you're capable of more than you previously thought. Each success builds momentum that carries you toward even greater achievements. Each step forward makes the next step easier and the ultimate destination more believable. But momentum requires consistency. One workout doesn't create fitness, one sale doesn't build a business, and one day of positive thinking doesn't transform a lifetime of negative conditioning. Success is built through the accumulation of consistent daily actions aligned with your definite purpose. This is where most people fail. They expect dramatic results from sporadic efforts. They want massive success without massive consistency. They seek overnight transformation while only making occasional changes. But success doesn't work that way. Success is the result of doing the right things consistently over time, not doing exceptional things occasionally. The compound effect is the secret weapon of the wealthy and successful. Just as compound interest turns small investments into large fortunes over time, compound effort turns small daily disciplines into major life achievements. The difference between successful and unsuccessful people isn't what they do occasionally, it's what they do consistently. Read for 30 minutes every day, and over time you'll consume hundreds of books and thousands of ideas. Exercise for 30 minutes every day, and over time you'll transform your health and energy. Work on your business for 30 minutes every day, and over time you'll build an empire. The key isn't the intensity of the effort, it's the consistency of the commitment. But consistency requires systems, not just willpower. Willpower is like a muscle that gets tired with use. If you rely solely on motivation and willpower to drive your success, you'll inevitably fail when your energy runs low or your motivation wanes. Systems make success automatic rather than dependent on how you feel in any given moment. Create systems that make your success inevitable. Design your environment to support your goals rather than sabotage them. Establish routines that automatically move you toward your definite purpose without requiring constant decision-making. Build habits that serve your vision even when you don't feel like it. Steve Jobs understood this principle when he eliminated decision fatigue by wearing the same outfit every day. He didn't want to waste mental energy on clothing choices when he could direct that energy toward innovation. Similarly, you must eliminate unnecessary decisions and automate as much as possible so your mental energy remains focused on what matters most. This systematic approach to success extends beyond personal habits to include your relationships and environment. The people you spend time with will either elevate your thinking or contaminate it. The books you read will either expand your possibilities or limit them. The media you consume will either inspire your growth or reinforce your limitations. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you want to achieve extraordinary success, you must surround yourself with extraordinary people. This doesn't mean abandoning friends who aren't successful. It means being intentional about who influences your thinking and who you allow to speak into your life. Seek out mentors who have achieved what you want to achieve. Study their habits, adopt their perspectives, and model their behaviors. Read books by people who have walked the path you want to walk. Attend events where successful people gather. Join communities of like-minded individuals who are pursuing similar goals. But be selective. Not everyone who claims to be successful actually is, and not everyone who is successful is worth emulating. Look for people whose success is built on principles you respect, whose character you admire, and whose methods you can ethically adopt. Success without integrity is failure disguised as achievement. Your environment shapes your behavior more than your willpower can overcome. If you want to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with healthy foods and remove the junk. If you want to read more place books where you can see them and remove distracting devices. If you want to save money, make spending difficult and saving automatic. Design your physical environment to support your goals, but don't neglect your mental environment. The thoughts you think, the media you consume, and the conversations you have are all part of your mental environment. Just as you wouldn't live in a physically toxic environment, you shouldn't tolerate a mentally toxic one. Protect your mind like you would protect your most valuable possession because it is your most valuable possession. Guard your thoughts, filter your inputs, and choose your influences carefully. Your mind is constantly being programmed by external forces. Make sure you're in control of the programming. This protection extends to how you handle criticism and negativity from others. Not everyone will support your dreams or believe in your vision. Some people will actively try to discourage you either because they're jealous of your ambition or because your success would make them uncomfortable about their own lack of achievement. Learn to distinguish between constructive feedback that helps you improve and destructive criticism that's meant to tear you down. Accept the former gratefully and reject the latter completely. Don't allow other people's limitations to become your own. Don't let their fears infect your faith or their doubts contaminate your dreams. Remember that criticism from unsuccessful people is irrelevant. Would you take driving advice from someone who doesn't have a license? Would you accept financial counsel from someone who's broke? Would you listen to relationship advice from someone who's never had a successful relationship? Then why would you allow unsuccessful people to influence your pursuit of success? The opinions of others matter only to the extent that they serve your growth and support your journey. Everything else is noise that distracts from your signal. Stay focused on your definite purpose. Maintain faith in your vision and trust in your ability to achieve whatever you set your mind to accomplish. As you progress on this journey of mental mastery, you'll discover that winning your mind is not a one-time achievement, but an ongoing practice. Every day brings new challenges to your thinking, new tests of your discipline, and new opportunities to strengthen your mental muscles. The mind that brought you to your current level of success won't necessarily carry you to the next level. Continuous growth requires continuous challenge. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. When you stop growing, you start dying. When you stop learning, you start losing. When you stop challenging yourself, you start settling. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you begin your decline. The most successful people never stop growing because they never stop setting new goals. They achieve one level of success, celebrate briefly, then set their sights on the next mountain to climb. They understand that success is not a destination, but a journey, not a conclusion, but a continuation. This mindset of continuous growth keeps you hungry, keeps you learning, and keeps you evolving. It prevents complacency from settling in and mediocrity from taking root. It ensures that your best days are always ahead of you regardless of what you've already accomplished. But growth for its own sake is meaningless. Your growth must be tied to your purpose, aligned with your values, and directed toward making a positive impact on the world. The most fulfilling success is success that serves others, that contributes to something greater than yourself, that leaves the world better than you found it. As you win your mind and claim your fortune, remember that true wealth is not just about accumulating money or possessions. True wealth includes health, relationships, experiences, knowledge, wisdom, and the satisfaction that comes from becoming the person you were meant to be. True fortune is living a life of meaning, purpose, and contribution. The principles you've discovered in this journey of mental mastery are not just strategies for achieving external success. They're blueprints for creating internal fulfillment. They're not just techniques for making money. They're methods for making meaning. They're not just tools for building a business. They're instruments for building a life. The mind you've been training, the habits you've been forming, and the character you've been developing will serve you long after any specific goal has been achieved. The person you become in pursuit of your dreams is more valuable than any prize you might win. The journey transforms you in ways that the destination never could. Every day that you choose discipline over default, growth over comfort, and possibility over limitation, you're not just moving toward your goals, you're becoming the person capable of achieving them. Every moment that you choose faith over fear, abundance over scarcity, and service over selfishness, you're not just building your fortune, you're building your character. The world needs what you have to offer. Your unique combination of talents, experiences, perspectives, and dreams exists for a reason. The solution to some problem, the answer to some need, the fulfillment of some desire lies within your potential. But potential unrealized is potential wasted. You have been given everything you need to succeed. You have a mind capable of creating solutions, a heart capable of inspiring others, and a spirit capable of overcoming any obstacle. You have access to all the knowledge ever discovered, all the wisdom ever shared, and all the strategies ever developed. You have the same 24 hours that every successful person in history has had. The only question remaining is this: will you use what you've been given? Will you develop your potential? Will you pursue your purpose? Will you claim your fortune? Will you win your mind? The choice is yours, but the time is now. Tomorrow is not promised, next week is not guaranteed, and next year is not assured. This moment right now is the only moment you have with certainty. What you do with this moment will determine what you do with your life. Stop waiting for perfect conditions, perfect timing, or perfect knowledge. Stop waiting for someone else to give you permission, opportunity, or encouragement. Stop waiting for fear to leave, doubt to disappear, or obstacles to remove themselves. Start where you are. Use what you have and do what you can. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, but that step must be taken. The dream of a lifetime begins with a single decision, but that decision must be made. The fortune of your future begins with a single thought, but that thought must be disciplined, focused, and sustained by unwavering action. Your mind is waiting for your command. Your potential is waiting for your activation. Your destiny is waiting for your decision. The universe itself is conspiring to help you succeed, but it can only work with the materials you provide. Give it clarity and it will provide opportunities. Give it belief and it will arrange circumstances. Give it action and it will deliver results. Every great fortune started as a thought in someone's mind. Every empire began as a vision in someone's imagination. Every breakthrough originated as a possibility in someone's consciousness. The thought that will create your fortune is already within you, waiting for you to recognize it, believe in it, and act upon it. The steel empire of Andrew Carnegie started as a thought about the potential of American industry. The automotive revolution of Henry Ford began as a vision of transportation for the masses. The entertainment empire of Walt Disney originated as a belief in the power of storytelling and imagination. The technological transformation led by Steve Jobs commenced with a thought about putting powerful tools in the hands of everyday people. These titans of industry didn't possess magical powers or secret knowledge unavailable to you. They simply learned to harness the creative force of their minds and direct it toward definite purposes with unwavering persistence. They understood that the mind is not just an observer of reality, it's a creator of reality. Your mind right now contains the same creative force that built every fortune, launched every innovation, and achieved every breakthrough in human history. The only difference between your current reality and your desired reality is the consistent application of the principles you now understand. Knowledge without application is worthless. Understanding without implementation is meaningless. Awareness without action is powerless. The moment you truly commit to winning your mind and claiming your fortune, everything changes. The universe begins to reorganize itself around your definite purpose. Opportunities that were previously invisible become obvious. Resources that seemed unavailable become accessible. People who can help you appear in your life as if by magic. This isn't mysticism, it's psychology. When you're truly committed to a goal, your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information, begins to notice everything related to that goal. You start seeing possibilities that were always there but previously ignored. You become aware of resources that existed but went unrecognized. You attract people and circumstances that align with your purpose. But this process requires more than casual interest or wishful thinking. It demands the kind of burning desire that Napoleon Hill described as the starting point of all achievement. This desire must be so intense that it becomes an obsession so compelling that it drives you to action even when you don't feel like it, so powerful that it sustains you through every obstacle and setback. Thomas Edison didn't just want to create the light bulb, he was obsessed with bringing light to the world. His desire was so intense that he could work 18 hours a day for months on end, fail 1,000 times, and still maintain his enthusiasm for the next experiment. His burning desire made him immune to discouragement and allergic to giving up. Colonel Sanders didn't just want to sell his chicken recipe, he was driven by a consuming passion to share something special with the world. His desire was so powerful that he could face rejection after rejection, sleep in his car, and still knock on the next door with unwavering confidence. His burning desire transformed every no into motivation for the next yes. Oprah Winfrey didn't just want to be on television, she was compelled by a deep desire to help people discover their potential and live their best lives. Her desire was so authentic that it transcended entertainment and became transformation. Her burning desire created a connection with millions of people who saw their own possibilities reflected in her success. Your burning desire is the fuel that will power your journey from where you are to where you want to be. Without it, you'll give up when the going gets tough. With it, you'll find a way or make one. Without it, obstacles will stop you. With it, obstacles will strengthen you. Without it, criticism will discourage you. With it, criticism will motivate you. But desire alone, no matter how burning, is not enough. You must couple that desire with a definite plan of action. A goal without a plan is just a wish. A dream without a strategy is just a fantasy. A desire without a blueprint is just an emotion. Your plan doesn't have to be perfect, but it must be definite. You can adjust it as you learn and grow, but you must start with something concrete. Break your major goal into smaller, manageable steps. Identify the knowledge you need to acquire, the skills you need to develop, and the habits you need to establish. Create deadlines that create urgency and milestones that measure progress. Henry Ford didn't just dream of mass-producing automobiles, he developed specific plans for assembly line manufacturing. Walt Disney didn't just imagine an entertainment empire, he created detailed blueprints for theme parks, movies, and television shows. Steve Jobs didn't just envision user-friendly computers, he designed specific products with particular features for targeted markets. Your plan becomes your roadmap, guiding your daily decisions and directing your energy toward productive action. Without a plan, you're likely to waste time on activities that feel productive but don't actually move you toward your goal. With a plan, every action has purpose and every effort contributes to your ultimate success. But even the best plan is worthless without execution. Execution is where dreams meet reality, where planning becomes performance, and where potential becomes profit. The difference between successful and unsuccessful people isn't the quality of their plans, it's the consistency of their execution. Execution requires discipline, but not the kind of harsh, punitive discipline that most people imagine. It requires the discipline of love for your vision so deep that you're willing to do whatever it takes to make it real. When you truly love your goal, working toward it doesn't feel like sacrifice, it feels like investment. When you're genuinely passionate about your purpose, discipline doesn't feel like deprivation, it feels like devotion. This loving discipline transforms work from drudgery into devotion, obstacles from problems into projects, and challenges from burdens into blessings. When you love what you're building, you find energy you didn't know you had. When you're passionate about your purpose, you discover strength that surprises you. When you're devoted to your vision, you develop persistence that amazes others. But love and passion alone are not enough to sustain long-term success. You must also develop the mental toughness to persist when love and passion are not enough. There will be days when you don't feel motivated. There will be times when your energy is low and your enthusiasm has waned. In these moments, mental toughness carries you forward when emotions would let you down. Mental toughness is the ability to do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel about doing it. It's showing up when you don't want to show up, working when you don't feel like working, and persisting when every instinct tells you to quit. Mental toughness is not about being harsh with yourself, it's about being honest with yourself about what success requires. The most successful people in history have all possessed extraordinary mental toughness. Abraham Lincoln maintained his vision of preserving the Union through a devastating civil war. Winston Churchill sustained Britain's resistance during the darkest days of World War II. Martin Luther King Jr. continued his fight for civil rights despite constant threats and violent opposition. These leaders didn't feel brave every day, but they acted bravely anyway. They didn't feel confident every moment, but they projected confidence nonetheless. They didn't feel strong all the time, but they demonstrated strength when it mattered most. Their mental toughness allowed them to transcend their temporary feelings and focus on their permanent purposes. Your mental toughness will be tested repeatedly on your journey to success. Every worthwhile goal comes with moments that test your resolve, challenge your commitment, and question your sanity. These tests are not punishments, they're promotions. They're opportunities to prove to yourself and the universe that you're serious about your success. When these tests come, and they will come, remember that they're temporary. No storm lasts forever, no challenge is permanent, and no setback is final unless you make it so. What feels overwhelming in the moment will seem manageable in retrospect. What appears insurmountable today will become a stepping stone tomorrow. The key is maintaining perspective during the storm. When you're in the middle of a challenge, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. The immediate problem seems all-consuming, the temporary setback feels permanent, and the current struggle appears endless. But perspective reminds you that this too shall pass, and everything you're experiencing is preparing you for the success that's coming. This perspective comes from understanding that success is not a straight line from point A to point B. Success is a spiral staircase where you sometimes feel like you're going backward even though you're actually going upward. Success is a series of cycles where you plant seeds, water them patiently, and trust that harvest time will come. The seasons of success mirror the seasons of nature. There's a time for planting when you're laying foundations and establishing systems. There's a time for growing when you're developing skills and building momentum. There's a time for harvesting when you're reaping the rewards of your efforts. And there's a time for resting when you're recovering and preparing for the next cycle. Many people give up during the planting or growing seasons because they expect to harvest immediately. They want spring results with winter effort. They desire summer profits with autumn preparation, but success doesn't work that way. Every season has its purpose, and every phase has its place in the overall cycle of achievement. During the planting season, focus on establishing the right habits, acquiring the necessary knowledge, and building the essential systems. This phase may not feel productive because you're not seeing immediate results, but you're laying the foundation for everything that's to come. The farmer doesn't expect to harvest on the day he plants. Neither should you expect immediate returns on your initial investments. During the growing season, focus on consistency, persistence, and patience. This is when your habits are taking root, your skills are developing, and your momentum is building. You might not see dramatic progress every day, but compound growth is happening beneath the surface. The bamboo plant grows underground for years before shooting up 90 feet in just 60 days. During the harvesting season, focus on maximizing your results and preparing for the next cycle. This is when your efforts pay off, your sacrifices make sense, and your persistence is rewarded. But don't get so caught up in celebrating success that you forget to plant seeds for the next harvest. The most successful people are already planting tomorrow's success while harvesting today's rewards. During the resting season, focus on reflection, renewal, and preparation. This is when you evaluate what worked and what didn't, what to continue and what to change, what to expand and what to eliminate. Rest is not idleness, it's preparation. Recovery is not retreat, it's recharging. Renewal is not resignation, it's recommitment. Understanding these seasons prevents you from making the mistake of judging your progress by short-term results. Success is a long-term game that requires long-term thinking. The decisions you make today may not pay off for months or even years, but that doesn't mean they're not valuable. The investments you make now may not provide immediate returns, but they're building equity in your future. This long-term perspective is what separates the wealthy from the poor, the successful from the struggling, and the achievers from the dreamers. Poor people think in terms of immediate gratification. Wealthy people think in terms of delayed gratification. Struggling people focus on short-term pain. Successful people focus on long-term gain. Dreamers want quick results. Achievers understand that worthwhile results take time. But long-term thinking doesn't mean long-term inaction. While you're building toward long-term success, you must also create short-term momentum through daily victories and weekly progress. The key is balancing immediate action with ultimate vision, short-term tactics with long-term strategy, present effort with future payoff. Every day ask yourself, what can I do today that will move me closer to my long-term goal? What action can I take right now that will compound over time? What habit can I establish today that will serve me for decades? What relationship can I build now that will support my future success? What skill can I develop today that will increase my value tomorrow? These daily decisions and actions may seem insignificant in isolation, but they're incredibly powerful in accumulation. The book you read today may contain the idea that changes your life. The person you meet this week may become your most important business partner. The skill you develop this month may become your competitive advantage. The habit you establish this year may determine your success for decades. Success is built one day at a time, one decision at a time, one action at a time. You don't become successful by making one grand gesture. You become successful by making consistently good choices over extended periods. You don't build wealth in a single transaction. You build wealth through countless small transactions that compound over time. This understanding takes the pressure off any single day decision or action. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. You don't have to do everything right, you just have to do the right things repeatedly. You don't have to achieve massive results immediately. You just have to make meaningful progress consistently. But consistency requires systems more than it requires willpower. Willpower is a finite resource that gets depleted throughout the day. Systems are automatic processes that work regardless of how you feel or how much energy you have. The most successful people don't rely on motivation to drive their success. They rely on systems that make success inevitable. Create systems for every important area of your life. Develop a system for continuous learning that ensures you're constantly growing. Establish a system for physical fitness that maintains your energy and health. Build a system for financial management that creates wealth over time. Design a system for relationship building that expands your network and influence. Your systems should be simple enough to maintain but powerful enough to create results. They should be flexible enough to adapt but structured enough to ensure consistency. They should be enjoyable enough to sustain but challenging enough to produce growth. The best systems are those that become so natural they feel effortless, yet they consistently move you toward your goals. As your systems produce results and your consistency creates momentum, you'll begin to experience what Napoleon Hill called the turning point. This is the moment when all your efforts begin to pay off simultaneously, when opportunities start appearing faster than you can pursue them, when success becomes a magnet that attracts more success. The turning point often comes just when you feel like giving up. It arrives after you've planted countless seeds that haven't yet sprouted, made countless efforts that haven't yet paid off, and invested countless hours that haven't yet produced visible results. This is why persistence is so crucial. Success often comes to those who hold on just a little longer than everyone else. But the turning point is not a destination. It's a transition. It's not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a new phase. Success at one level creates new challenges, new opportunities, and new responsibilities. The person who achieves their first million faces different challenges than the person trying to earn their first 1,000. The business that reaches $10 million in revenue has different problems than the startup trying to make its first sale. This is why continuous growth and learning are essential. The skills that got you to your current level of success won't necessarily take you to the next level. The habits that worked in the past may not work in the future. The strategies that were effective yesterday may be obsolete tomorrow. Success is not a final achievement, it's an ongoing evolution. Embrace this evolution. Welcome new challenges as opportunities to grow. See increased responsibilities as evidence of your expanding capacity. View higher expectations as proof of your demonstrated competence. Every new level of success is a platform for achieving even greater success. But as you evolve and grow, never forget the principles that brought you this far. The fundamentals of success don't change even when the applications do. Definite purpose, unwavering belief, persistent action, continuous learning, and service to others remain the cornerstones of achievement, regardless of your level of success. These principles are not just strategies for achieving external success, they're blueprints for living a meaningful life. They're not just techniques for making money, they're methods for making a difference. They're not just tools for building a business, they're instruments for building character. The greatest fortune you can win is not measured in dollars, but in the person you become while earning those dollars. The most valuable success is not what you accumulate, but who you develop into while accumulating it. The richest life is not determined by what you own, but by what you contribute, not by what you take, but by what you give. As you claim your fortune and win your mind, remember that true success is not a solo journey. You achieve your greatest victories when you help others achieve theirs. You reach your highest potential when you help others reach theirs. You experience your deepest fulfillment when you contribute to something greater than yourself. The mind you've trained, the character you've developed, and the success you've achieved are not just for your benefit, they're for the benefit of everyone whose life you touch. Your success becomes a beacon of possibility for others who are still struggling. Your achievement becomes proof that their dreams are attainable. Your victory becomes inspiration for their battles. This is the ultimate purpose of winning your mind and claiming your fortune, to become a force for good in the world, to use your success to lift others, and to ensure that your prosperity contributes to the prosperity of humanity. When your success serves others, it becomes more than achievement, it becomes legacy. The choice is before you now, clearer than ever before. You can continue living as you have been living, thinking as you have been thinking, and getting the same results you have been getting. Or you can decide to win your mind, transform your thinking, and claim the fortune that has been waiting for you all along. The tools are in your hands. The knowledge is in your mind. The power is in your heart. The time is now. Your fortune awaits, but it requires your decision, your commitment, and your action to claim it. Win your mind and you win everything. The battle for your fortune begins and ends in the 3 inches between your ears. Make that sacred space a sanctuary of possibility, a fortress of faith, and a launching pad for the extraordinary life you were meant to live. The victory is yours if you choose to claim it. The fortune is yours if you decide to earn it. The life you've dreamed of is yours if you're willing to become the person capable of living it. Your mind is waiting. Your destiny is calling. Your fortune is within reach. The question is not whether you can succeed, you can. The question is not whether you deserve success, you do. The question is whether you will make the choice, take the action, and persist through the challenges required to transform your potential into reality. Choose wisely, act boldly, persist relentlessly. Your future self is counting on the decision you make right now. Win your mind. Claim your fortune. The world is waiting to see what you'll do with the power you possess. If this message has sparked something within you, if these words have awakened a sleeping giant in your soul, then share this truth with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to join thousands who are committed to winning their minds and claiming their fortunes. Comment below with the one principle that resonates most deeply with your current journey. Your breakthrough begins with your belief, and your fortune starts with your decision to finally, completely, and irrevocably win your mind.